Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to a brand new video. So in this video we'll be talking about what caused the World War. Now there were thousands of political reasons behind the First World War which we'll not be discussing in this video. Instead we'll be talking about the absolute reason behind the First World War with a few side references. So let's begin. Now, to understand what caused the World War, we first need to understand the background of the situation in which the war was triggered. And for this, we'll have to travel back in time, say sometime in the 15th century. The 15th century was a time when colonization first began. The developed countries of the world, which were mostly European countries, set sail on trade journeys to new lands. They visited these new lands for the purpose of trade, but as time passed, the traders discovered that they could colonize or basically captured these lands and use it for different purposes of their own profit, and thus began the era of colonization. By the end of the 16th century, almost the entire world has been colonized. The traders, who were now the rulers, ruled the lands due to the lack of efficient education among the locals. But as time passed, the rulers decided to educate the masses of the colonies so that they could have more skilled workers. But the education created an uprising among the masses and thus began revolts in the colonies. By the end of the 17th century, these revolts led to mass agitations among the people in the colonies. The next century saw many revolts and agitations for gaining liberty. By the beginning of the 19th century, the revolts became stronger and colonization was gradually coming to an end. But the developed countries didn't enjoy this and planned several things to maintain control over the colonies, and all of them were ready to go on a full-scale war for retaining their power, and they just needed a trigger. In the beginning of the 19th century, the nation of Austria-Hungary was one of the leading powers in Europe. Back in the day, Austria-Hungary was a single unified nation and they had captured huge territories in Europe. Now, I mentioned previously that colonization was coming to an end in the beginning of the 19th century. Well, this criteria applied for Austria-Hungary as well. The territories under Austria-Hungary were trying to gain liberty in many ways. The country lying in the southeast of the Austria-Hungarian territory was Bosnia and Herzegovina, and just beside it was Serbia. Bosnia and Herzegovina was trying to gain liberty and many Serbian organizations were helping it as Serbia had good relations with Bosnia and Herzegovina. One of the leading organizations helping was the Black Hand Organization, formed in 1911 in Serbia. The Black Hand Organization joined forces with Young Bosnia movement in an attempt of liberating Bosnia and Herzegovina. The Black Hand Organization, along with Young Bosnia movement, carried out many operations, but their final operation was the most effective. The final operation was murdering Archduke Franz Ferdinand, who was the heir to the throne of Austria-Hungary. The assassination was carried out on 20 June 1940. Archduke Franz and his wife Sophie were in Sarajevo and they were out in their morning ride in their car when Nedeljko Karbinovic, a member of the Young Bosnia movement and Black Hand Organization, threw a grenade at their car. But the grenade didn't injure the couple and they escaped. But the grenade did injure some pedestrians. The couple headed towards the governor's office in Sarajevo to hide for some time. Archduke decided to meet the pedestrians who were injured by the grenade earlier that day. After spending some time at the governor's office, the couple re-entered the car. But the driver wasn't informed about meeting the injured pedestrians. Therefore, he had to turn back, which ultimately resulted in a traffic jam. Gavrilo Princip, who was the leader of the agents sent for murdering the prince, was in a cafe nearby. He looked at the jam as his chance and he came out in the street immediately. He first shot Sophie in the abdomen and then shot Archduke in the neck. Archduke died almost immediately and Sophie died on her way to the hospital. Gavrilo and his accomplices were later captured and sent to prison, but that was not enough to tame the charged conditions in Austria and Hungary. Austria-Hungary blamed Serbia for the assassination. In July 1914, Austria-Hungary sent a list of regulations that Serbia had to follow. This list was named the July Ultimatum. Serbia accepted the regulations, but still Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia. Now Russia, who was a Serbian country as well, joined forces with Serbia. This frightened Austria-Hungary and therefore they asked Germany to fight from their side. Then Russia got the assistance of England and France from the west, and like this the entire world was gathered to fight the war. So guys, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed, and if you did, then don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends and subscribe to my channel for more such videos in the future. And finally, thanks for watching.